this is a quick IO guide for newer players. I'm going to go over a few things to help you get you set up for playing the game and common questions that get asked in support. First, we're going to go over how to set up your game to evirma version. You would want to go to your library, right-click the game, and select Properties. Once you select Properties, you're going to hit Game Versions and Beta, then hit evirma and let the Steam update to the latest version. Now, F2 is very important for recording rule breaks. It's how we can get the Steam IDs and see which players were involved in the rule break. To ensure that your game session is protected in case of any rule breaks, as soon as you log into game, hit the F2 key on your keyboard. You will then see a green little camera on your top left, and it'll show that the session is now recording. The recording stops when you die. Now, how to get that F2 recording can be done in a few ways. One of those ways is going to your File Explorer on your PC. Enter this at the little search area in the top. Make sure you change this to your correct PC name profile. And then you can just submit that demo in any report. You could also access the replays by going to the main menu, hit replays, select the recent demo of your session, and then you can record the rule break with any third-party apps like Metal or OBS, which are free. And we also recommend using Metal or OBS because if there's any VoIP violations, F2 won't capture any of that. If someone has said something that's against the rules, it needs to be captured with either Metal or OBS or any streaming device. Next, for new players, this is a helpful tip to make your nights a bit brighter. Nighttime is really dark. After you hit X to turn on your night vision, it's still relatively dark. To make it brighter, you can go to your settings in your game. Under graphics, have lumen set to off, and then apply. Next is sniffing your directions. So you hit Q to sniff, and you will then see lines on the top of the screen. If the arrow is facing up, that is north. If the arrow is facing down, that is south. And as you know with directions, when you're looking north, west is to your left and east is to your right. When you're also sniffing, you will see different symbols that appear. Some of these are the sanctuary symbol, which are represented by palm trees. Dino and pteranodons can't smell it, even though you can go to it. At a certain percentage, you do stop smelling sanctuary. It's close to 50%, but it is different per dino. The eyes mean an active patrol zone. There are different type of patrol zones. You will see on the map that some are squared, some are circled shape. The square ones will get activated if a carnivore is in that location for a prolonged period of time. The circle ones will get activated if a herbivore is in that area for a prolonged period of time. Not all zones do activate, as many are buggy, but that is what these eyes mean when you see them appear as you sniff. Next is the migration symbol, which is a bunch of footprints. These become active when dinosaurs are in the area. It doesn't always mean it's not active just because you can't smell it. Some of the migration zones are bugged. So if you do smell it, that means that is an active migration zone. Other things you can smell are the chicken bones, which symbolizes a corpse. It can also mean that it's a not preferred food for a carnivore. If you're playing a carnivore, it'll show that. This means a scrap of meat that was pulled off whatever body. The bone symbol equates to bones. You can only get bones from players, and certain dinos do eat bones. And then the bones with a bunch of flesh on it means that it is a rotten corpse. Next, there are a few more symbols that you will see. There is a pack of what looks to be raptors altogether. It means that there is a group of dinosaurs nearby, a rather large group or a full pack. The water droplet with this little floaty symbol around it means there's a water source. As you sniff, you will see the lines above, which shows you the directions become more wavier as you get closer to the water. This little rock symbol means rocks, salt rock. Salt rock does cure vomit sickness. Next, when you sniff, you can see your diets, which is V, A, and Y. These diets represent A, carbs, B, proteins, and Y, lipids. Your preferred diets are represented by these symbols. So check what's on your diet when you hit tab, and if a plant or corpse is on your diet, one of these symbols will show up when you sniff. Now for herbies, you can also see this symbol for a plant that you can eat, but it's not on your diet. This represents an egg. Plain and simple. You can eat these. For some dinosaurs, it will give you a perfect diet. When nesting, I couldn't find the symbol for it, but when you are nesting, you can smell for branches, and they look like a bundle of sticks. And then you could just find those branches and go up to it and use them for your nest. Next, for food sniffing is this multi-arrow image. It means that for herby juvies and sanctuary, that this is your healthy sanctuary mushroom that you can eat to get your perfect diet. A little bit more about diets. To maintain a perfect diet, which is a prime requirement, you have to have 3 diet symbols filled at least once. They don't have to be constantly filled, at least they get filled one time, it gets marked off. The more filled they are, the faster you do grow, along with some health benefits. You do stop growing, or it does stop affecting your growth after 75%. Now, herbies can get their perfect diet very easily as juvies by going to sanctuary and eating the red mushrooms there. This will cover all 3 of your diets, only to a certain age percentage. Carnivores must hunt AI or other dinosaurs to obtain all 3 of their diets. The quickest way to do so, or to get all 3, is by taking out the guts of a player dino or AI galley, which is called goring. You can gore by spamming E over the body 3 times to expose the guts, then tap G to pull them out to eat. The only bodies that you can't gore are pteranodons. Bigger dinosaurs can also hold smaller bodies and then shake your mouse to just get the guts out. There are different mutations you can select as you grow. You get 3 slots, but if you get prime, you have 4. When you hit 100%, and you are able to entomb, you can carry those mutations onto a new life and then some, and repeat the same cycle. There are some mutations that are just species or gender restricted. There are also hidden mutations that can be unlocked by doing certain tasks in the game, and I will list some of the harder ones to get and how to get them. These are some of the unlockable mutations and how to get them. There is augmented tape tome. This can only be done for carnivores. It increases the night vision. How to achieve it is by killing 5 players at night, and you can unlock it on slot 2. Some players have tried this and they say it does not look that great, so use it at your own discretion. Secondly is the osteophagic, if I said that right. That is also for carnivores. You are able to consume bones to regenerate fractures faster. To achieve that, you have to eat bones while you have a broken bone. Next is reinforced tendons. This is good for a lot of jumping dinosaurs, and especially for pteranodons who need it for their takeoffs. Jumping costs less stamina, and it reduces stamina again for the takeoffs. You unlock this by jumping 50 times, and you can get this at slot 1. Finally, one of the more harder ones to get is the reniculated kidneys. This allows you to drink salt water, or for crocs to swim through salt water without getting dehydrated. How is you drink salt water to your water, hit 0 or turns red, and you become fluid deficient when you hit tab. You then go back to regular water and drink it until you're full. You will then rinse and repeat this 2 to 3 times. Then it should be unlocked as your second mutation slot. Next is about getting prime. Now, how to get prime is you have to get 5 out of these 8 requirements. When you spawn in, you already have never infertile and no muscle spasms marked off. If you are born from an egg, then you will also have this marked off. You will have to get all 5 requirements before 75%. There are some dinosaurs that only need 4 requirements, and that is the Trudon, the Bepi, the Dryo, the Hypsy, and the Deinosuchus. Visiting Sanctuary is mandatory from what we have read to get prime, so you have to make sure you visit Sanctuary on your dinosaur. More about getting prime. If you also have to get your migration zones and patrol zones marked off, do know that they are very buggy. This is a base game issue, not a server problem. Some zones don't work at all, while others are a hit or miss. The zones don't have to be active in order for them to be counted towards your prime. Now, these are some of the best migration zones to hit as they are most consistent. One is West Rail. The middle one at the bottom on West Rail can be a bit finicky. It works on some dinosaurs, while others not so much. Next, the South Plains Migration Zone and the North Lake Migration Zone. And Delta is again a very hit or miss. It works for some and it works for not for others. Not entirely sure which patrol zones work the best, but we'll also update which ones are the best one to use if you lose one of your previous requirements and you have to hit a patrol zone. We will try to update on which ones are the best. Next is nesting. Nesting can be done at 50%. You need one male or female dino paired, or you can be a female dino solo and take the mutation parthenogenesis, and then you can asexually nest in your babies. Now, to pair up with your partner, you have to hit N while facing them, and then you'll do this cutesy little mating dance. Check tab to see if you are paired. Sometimes it doesn't sync up, and then you have to repeat it. Once paired, tap N to nest, and you will see a nest icon appear on your screen. You can remove it by hitting N again if you want to put the nest in a better location. Nests are a bit picky about where you place them. Some really don't want the land to be slanted at all. Now, nesting is different for each dino. Some will make mounds, and when they do so, they just hold the E as they build on the nest. Others require sticks, which, as previously mentioned, you can find by Sniffing. You locate the sticks, bring them back to the nest for use. Anybody in your party can sniff for the sticks, even people not in your party can sniff for sticks. I'm not sure if that's a bug or if that was intended, but when you are nesting, people nearby can smell the sticks needed for your nest. Once the nest is built, the female will hold E on the nest to lay any eggs. You can start gesting eggs at 50%. So while you're getting your nest set up, start gestating so you can just be ready to pop those eggs onto the nest. Now, more about nesting. You will then have to monitor the temperature gauge on the nest to make sure it doesn't get cold. To keep it from getting cold, you will sit on the nest to warm it up. And then pay attention to the gauge when you sit on it, because you don't want to get it too warm and overheat the eggs. Now, to invite people to your nest after they've been successfully incubated, hit tab, go to the nesting interface. There you can set the eggs to public or private. Now, private, you will get a code that players will have to enter in on their Dino Create screen or their Dino Select screen. You then have to accept or decline their request as it comes in. Once your babies are hatched, they are under your care till 25% or so. To feed the baby, you must hold E, and the baby itself must hold E back, which will make them do this little begging animation. You can give your babies a perfect diet if you have a perfect diet yourself. If you don't have a perfect diet, they take in whatever diet you have on you. Any adult in your group could also feed the babies as well. Now, this is a final tip for new players. If you are new to the game, it's highly recommending you start with easier to grow dinosaurs. Some of them are Ceratos, Omniraptors, the Bepi. Some players want to do Croc or Rex because they're so big and bad, but understand the bigger and badder the dino, the longer and harder it takes to grow. And you have a bigger target on your back because when you're full grown, you are a threat to everybody on the server. So a lot of players will focus on those type of dinosaurs when they're young and growing. Also keep in mind when selecting your dino that each one has their own unique mechanics for both survivability and fighting. There are a lot of comprehensive guide videos. I recommend looking up and watching these videos so you can learn these different mechanics and be able to use your dino to its max potential. Also, don't be afraid to die or get overly mad. The whole experience of the game is surviving and fighting and trying to live to be able to endure. And dying is a huge aspect of the game. So have fun, make the best of it, and remember all of this is a part of the game experience. If you have any further questions that was not covered in this video, feel free to open a ticket and staff will be able to respond to you further with any questions that you may have.